Izabella Teixeira has been Brazil's Minister of the Environment since April of 2010. She has spent her career working to protect the environment and has set some ambitious goals to combat deforestation. Anand Naidu recently sat down with her in New York. He asked her about the rainforest.
First of all, what we have recently is not necessarily deforestation. We have fragmentation from the forest. You have a new dynamics, consider the environmental crime in Brazil. This is a new practice. They go into the forest, they cut the trees, but not all the trees. And you have the fragmentation of the forest. We are working hard to stop this process. And what we believe is that we probably will not have the increase of the deforestation rate in Brazil this year. Also, we use the new technologies to monitor, and also we are working with other institutions like the Brazilian arm, consider the intelligence arrangements in such a way that you can anticipate all the illegal movements and you can block these initiatives. It's important that you can have social and economic value for the forests.
Right, there are of course the needs of economic development in the country. I mean, there's been a great deal of criticism which has been leveled at Brazil because of some of its projects to, say, generate electricity, something like 60 hydroelectric projects which are in the pipeline right now, which environmentalists and indigenous people say will be a disaster for the area. The project that we most often hear about is the Belo Monte Dam project, which they say will destroy large tracts of land, ruin the land where indigenous people live, etc., and environmentalists say it will cause damage as well. Has there been any kind of rethink on the part of the government as far as these hydroelectric projects are concerned?
First of all, Belo Monte, the development of this dam, it's not impact directly indigenous area, indigenous territory, okay? You have a political movement in that region, and you have people that are against hydropower generation in the Amazon region. And this is the key question, okay? Brazil has an important renewable energy matrix. It's around 80%, and we want to improve this, okay? And to increase the participation of renewable energy sources in our matrix. So every time that you stay closer and closer, considering the social reality and the challenges to develop hydropower generation in that region, sometimes you have conflicts, and you need to understand what is the origin of these conflicts and how you can minimize these, how you can deal, how you can solve this. Sometimes it will be impossible. Okay, for example, if you need to develop hydropower generation in indigenous areas, into the indigenous areas. Our constitution says that to do this, we need approval for National Congress, okay? And this is really a huge political debate in our country. So it's important to know that, okay, if I cannot have this generation there, what are the other sources that I need to use and I need to finance to attend the demand that the society has? So these trade-offs, they're important to be considered, not only the environmental aspects, but the social and the economic ones.
Okay, now you're here in New York to get an award. This is from the United Nations Environmental Project. Tell us about the award and what that means.
Oh, I'm so honored and happy. This is the Champion of the Earth. This is the most important award on environmental on environment, and it's important to highlight that the award, what it means. It means that Brazil today, it's an important country for the environmental agenda, for sustainability agenda, okay? And Brazil wants that other societies can be engaged in this strategy to minimize, to reduce the emissions of CO2 emissions around the world. It's important that you can act, and I think that the award means this. This is a time to act, to put in practice, to work hard. Okay, it's important to dialogue, it's important to negotiate, but you need practice. We need to act and have the engagement of different societies around the world.
Minister, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you very much, for my pleasure.